Hello, and welcome to the first installment of Cooking with Eric. Today we will be cooking Jacob's red lentil soup. This red lentil stew has some very interesting history behind it. It traces back to the Bible, where in the Old Testament there's a story about Jacob and Esau eating some red stuff. This red stuff ended up being red lentil soup. Although this recipe can be traced back to biblical times, it wasn't until the 10th century when an Arabic cookbook specifically said that their stew was this red lentil stew. I'll be doing my best to try to replicate this stew. However, the stew calls for one ingredient that is quite hard to get, which is sumac berries. I couldn't find it in any grocery stores, so today I will be simply replacing it with lemon pepper, which is a known good substitute for sumac seasoning. Other than sumac berries, this stew calls for 12 cups of water, 1 pound of red lentils, 1 large onion, 2 tablespoons of salt, 2 tablespoons of black pepper that has been coarsely ground, 2 tablespoons of coriander ground, and 2 teaspoons of olive oil. Now that we have the ingredients, let's get into cooking. The first step in preparing the stew is to grab your pot and 12 cups of water. In the traditional recipe, this water will be boiled up to soak up the sumac berries. But since we had to replace that, this water will be boiled up and lemon pepper will be added with the red lentils. Now that the water has been added to the pot, we'll be heating it up, but not boiling it. We want it to be around 150 degrees Fahrenheit without boiling. At this step, we would be adding the sumac berries so they could soak. But since we don't have those, we'll be heating up the water and adding a tablespoon of lemon pepper. While we wait for the water to heat up, and the sumac would be soaking, we'll be preparing the onions. To prepare the onions, we will take 1 large onion and chop it into small pieces and saute it in a frying pan with olive oil until the onions have become golden brown. This will take approximately 15 minutes. Now that the onions are cut, heat up your pan to medium heat and add the onions in olive oil. Now that the water's been heated up, add 1 tablespoon of lemon pepper and mix it up. Now that the lemon pepper has been properly mixed, add 1 pound of red lentils, and turn up the heat until it is boiling. Now that the soup is starting to boil and the onions are sauteing, reduce the soup to a simmer for 30 minutes and then taste the lentils. Once the onions have become a nice golden brown texture, take them off the heat. Now that the lentils are looking good, add your onion, pepper, salt, and coriander to the stew. Now that everything has been mixed, cook for another 30 minutes. Now that the stew is looking good, we're going to transfer it into a blender. Now that the stew is in nice texture, it's ready to be served. Oh wow.